Tuesday morning, y'all, and welcome to Coffee Chat. Know your eyes if you're seeing me are not deceiving. I went and got a haircut yesterday and decided to go back to years ago. I used to have a buzz cut or crew cut, and I decided, you know what, it's time. I had gone back to having the cut that I had, the hairstyle that I had, because back in 2009, I had a brain injury, and it had I had a lot of scars and cuts, things that look that you could see from the surgery that I had to relieve the pressure on the brain, and I decided to go back and cover it up. Well, I decided yesterday that you know what, it's time to change and go back to the crew buzz cut, and I like it. They did a good job. Aaron down at Capital Barbershop did a great job on it, and I love the fact that I went back to it. Was I nervous? Oh yeah, I was nervous, but you know what? I decided, even if you can see the scars from the cut, from the surgery, you know, it's all right, because it's a story. It's part of my life, and I thought change can be good, which leads to the topic of this video: change, and how people with disabilities can handle it. And change is a nervous thing. I get it. A lot of people don't like change. They like the status quo. Like they like things to stay the same. The problem is nothing ever does, and we saw that happen with COVID. And what happened, all of a sudden we were living a normal life. We were going into offices. We were going riding public transportation without fear. And then all of a sudden, back in March of 2020, everything changed, and a global pandemic was um, announced, and we had to change. Many people had to go to work, from working in person to working from home, especially office type. Uh, and if you don't work in an office, you had to go from working without any face coverings to putting on a mask. And for people who are sensitive to that, change was hard. And some people, you know, can't wear a mask because of that. But it's safer to wear a mask. Um, I'm not going to say that not wearing a mask is wrong, because it's still your decision to wear a mask or not. Um, what I am going to say is that uh, I put on a mask for my protection and for yours, and I still do. Do I wear it everywhere? I'll have to admit that since I got my booster shot, uh, I'm still I'm not wearing it as much as I probably should, and that's just an admission of guilt. But I still wear it. Especially when I don't feel safe, um, and or when places say wear a mask required. Do I tell people that aren't wearing a mask or that are not wearing it properly that they're wrong? No, I don't want to be a Karen, or whatever you call the male version of Karen. Ken. I don't want to be a Ken. It's not my place. My place is to wear a mask, protect myself as high up as possible, like this, with a with the N95 mask, you know, high up as possible and as low as possible. You know, wear a mask, protect yourself and protect others as much as possible. Um, am I hoping that I don't have to wear the mask more and more? Honestly, I'm like everybody else. Yes. Do I think I will have to wear a mask sometimes? Honestly, yes. And not really for COVID-19. I may wear a mask for the fact of my sinuses in the spring and sometimes in the fall to protect my nose and stuff. And maybe, I wore a mask when I would mow the yard at my parents' house. Have I mowed the yard lately? No, because I live downtown. It's hard for me to go back and forth to home. Um, but I probably should go home and mow the yard or help to mow the grass. Um, anyway, back to the subject. Change. You know, we've gotten so used to this change of wearing masks or being socially distanced. So I think it'll be hard for people to change back. I think we're in a new sort of, and I'm going to put this in air quote, normal, because normal is the setting on a dryer. But um, I think that you'll always see more people wearing masks than you ever did before, or at least being more protective. You know, especially in certain situations, and that may not be a bad thing. We've got to think about protecting others from, not just from COVID, but sometimes if we have the flu or we have um, a cold, you know, we need to protect ourselves and protect others. And so let's just think about that. Don't judge people for wearing masks in the future. Think maybe they got immune problems. Maybe um, they're protecting themselves from other people carrying things and causing harm and health issues for them. Maybe they're going through chemo treatments, which affects immunity. We've got to realize that masks are not a bad thing, you know. And I want to go further, but I'm not. Uh, let's just not look at someone differently who's wearing a mask. Anyway, that's all for the coffee chat on that. But let's talk about change. How do you deal with change? Um, one step at a time. Realize that you may not like it, and you can ask for help in dealing with the change that comes, and maybe you know tell someone that you're having problems with change and the reason you're having, and try to explain the reason you're having problems with it, and maybe they can help you. Maybe they can understand. Now, some people may say, "Well, it's here, deal with it." That's not the right way to work with someone that's having a problem with change. The right way to work with someone with change is to find middle ground. Maybe try to figure out how you can um, maybe step back and say, okay, we're going to take this one step at a time, you know, and it may work out for the best because if you take it one step at a time, it may find out that the change that you're wanting to make is not the best change to make. You know, I used to go to, I call it the Church of Change. It's North Little Rock First Assembly of God, and I'm not trying to offend anyone if you're not a church person. I'm just using this as an example. Um, the reason I call it the Church of Change because they would try stuff, and if stuff worked, great. If stuff didn't work, great. you learn each week. You know, you learn whether or not it worked, and you could adjust. They could adjust things, um, and some of the changes were minor. Most of them were minor. Some were somewhat what some people may say major, but they're not really too major. Um, Maybe they would change the lineup of the service. Maybe they would try um, putting different things, like instead of asking people to sign in each week, you know, maybe they would just, they do away with the sign-in sheets. Maybe they would um, do something completely different in the service, you know, or do something different outside the lobby, in the lobby, or redirect people, or change the way. The major things would be changing the way traffic went around the church and stuff. Um, was it hard for people to adjust to that? Oh yeah, trust me. Even my dad, who would take and drive me to church, would have trouble with that sometimes. But you know, sometimes it's for the best. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is change is not necessarily a bad thing. And if it is a bad thing, you can learn from it and fail forward and learn from the mistakes of the change. Anywho, that's how you can deal with change as a person with a disability. And if you have trouble with it, like I said, ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Have a great day. Take care, and we'll talk later.